All right. Good afternoon, YouTube audience. You have joined, and we're just checking to make sure everything is a go. All right. I don't hear any echoes. All right. Let's see here. We've got everything. Yes, we are good to go. Okay. Hello, good people. You have tuned into Workplace Keys to Success, a channel that brings you an unfiltered, no nonsense approach to surviving workplace bullying. I'm your host, Crystal Keys, and welcome to this live YouTube podcast. Today, we're going to talk about workplace bullying and what next. From the playground to the boardroom, bullying happens in social settings across the globe. Workplace Keys to Success has been receiving inquiry after inquiry, which is good, about how individuals can get involved. You asked, how can I get involved to help ensure anti workplace bullying bills, laws, and acts are put in place? What next? A little bit of information. So, over 60.4 million American employees were affected by workplace bullying. Now, this was reported as of 2017. And now 79.3 million Americans are affected by workplace bullying as of January 2021. Workplace anti bullying laws in every state and at the federal level are needed. Laws that specifically apply to workplace bullying so we can consistently address this ethical urgency. You asked, how can I get involved? So, Workplace Keys to Success is pleased to announce our special guest today, Miss Camay. Now, Miss Camay was presented a Spirit Award for promoting friendship and sportsmanship. She received the Award of Excellence for Outstanding Community Service. She received the Humanitarian Award for Workplace Bullying for the Bullying Community Advocate and was awarded the President's Volunteer Service Award under the presidency of Barack Obama. Ms. Camay is a legal business consultant, international best-selling author, motivational speaker, and advocate against bullying in the workplace. She currently serves as the National Workplace Bullying Coalition Board of Directors as the Nevada State Bill Director, where she's advocating the Dignity at Work Act to state legislators. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Camay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much for having me today. Thank you.
Yes, yes. So we want you, Ms. Camay, to give you this time to share with us DAWA, Dignity at Work Act. What are some next steps we can take if we want to get involved, if we have an experience, if we've experienced workplace bullying as the target or the bystander? Now we're sitting here and we're wondering, okay, I've survived. So what can I do next to help anyone else that may be going through this experience?
Well, the first thing that I would suggest is to become a member of the National Workplace Bullying Coalition and join us and join our efforts across the nation advocating for the Dignity at Work Act, like you were saying. For those of you that are interested in becoming a member, if you have a testimony that you want to share, we are looking for you. We are looking for targets of workplace bullying. We are looking for bystanders of workplace bullying. And we are also looking to partner with small businesses that have a no tolerance policy for workplace bullying, who want to join us in our efforts as a small business or business owner, and really tell our state legislators on the state and even the federal level that they are a small business owner and they are in support of the Dignity at Work Act, and they are willing to take action in their business if they are ever facing a bully in their workplace. That's a part of our grassroots effort that was somewhat challenging for us. Is the Dignity at Work Act, although it offers a lot of protections for targets, for people who are being bullied in the workplace, but it also offers protections for employers who follow a protocol when there is a workplace bullying incident or situation reported. So, the Dignity at Work Act is not solely for targets. It's not, solely to seek plaintiff damages, on the litigation side. We wanted to build a collective effort, if you will, between business owners, small business owners, and targets and bystanders to really come together and unite, to remove this epidemic from our American workforce. If anybody's interested, you can send us an email at info@dignityattworkact.org. It's a lot to say in one word. You can send us an email with your level of interest, how you want to get involved, and we will definitely respond to you. We have made great strides this year, Crystal, just great strides. I partnered with the National Workplace Bullying Coalition back in 2015. Okay. Wow. So this isn't something that I just started doing. This has been several years in the making. I, based on my own experience of being bullied in the workplace, and also my experience working in insurance defense litigation, plaintiff personal injury, civil litigation, and I partnered with them. I hosted and directed a fashion and entertainment event in Seattle, Washington back in 2015. And NWBC was my charity of choice. And it was amazing event. We broke the silence around workplace bullying at that time. We raised funds for the coalition and just had an amazing event. Great talent at that event. Gosh, I want to do it every year. Yeah. And, just continue to build the momentum. But it was from that partnership and that connection where NWBC had asked me to join their advisory board at that time. And so after serving on their advisory board and continuing to build the momentum within the coalition, as you stated, I am now the build director for the state of Nevada. We're doing amazing things, just amazing things.
Okay. And that's good to know, because that's a piece of information that I didn't realize, that you are out there to also bring forth those small businesses, because there are some success stories and we want to get those out there, right? To help people feel encouraged. Like, okay, I went through this, but here's an organization that's doing it successfully. So that's good to know that it's not just for individuals, but you're also seeking companies, businesses that can help partner with your movement, is what I've been calling it, because it's nothing short of, well, this is just an act. It's really a movement that you all have going.
Yes. And excitedly, we have had great success with DAWA, with the Dignity at Work Act. That's the acronym for it. We have bill directors across several states here in the country. And these bill directors are building teams within their state to lobby, if you will, the proposed legislation. So the Dignity at Work Act, just to give people a little background on it, it is proposed legislation. We have lawyers, we have legal professionals that are on the board with NWBC. Okay. And so we drafted proposed legislation, which that is the only way in our country the law will change. Right. Is to draft legislation and look for sponsors and co-sponsors within our state legislators. And we've made great strides out in Rhode Island. Just recently, in the last few weeks, the Rhode Island Senate passed S-196, the Dignity at Work Act. Yes. And if the bill passed, Yes, yes, yes. We're not at the governor's desk there yet. I believe we're at the state labor committee up in Rhode Island, which is just a phenomenal news. You know, it's definitely, the bill is definitely working its way, you know, up the chain in Rhode Island. We're also making great strides in Massachusetts. Deb Falzoy leads our Massachusetts team. She is an amazing, amazing contribution to the coalition. I mean, we could have an interview about her. She has just brought tremendous tools, tremendous resources and experience, you know, to the coalition as a whole, but really specifically to Massachusetts. And you know, her efforts are tangible. We're seeing the progress. You know, out in Massachusetts right now, we're looking for co-sponsors there.
Okay.
And we're still continuing our bill director, you know, bill directors in states where we still don't have representation. I've talked to you about Ohio.
Yes.
As that's where you reside. And, you know, with your platform and your contribution to this epidemic it's just priceless. And, you know, so we are looking but that you know, has a story and has a voice, and you know, wants to use our voice to stand up and speak out.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the Rhode Island, it's no small feat, but we do want to acknowledge it as a quick win. So thank you for sharing that. To me, it's a baby step, but it's the bigger picture. So if we can get all the states aligned, I'm not sure how long Rhode Island has been working towards this, but that's wonderful news.
Yeah, we are very, very excited. You know, we have so many different teams within NWBC. We've got a legislative advocacy team.
Okay.
We've got an outreach and education team. We've got a marketing and fundraising team. And we have people joined us over these last several years. And we are just, you know, we're just making such great progress. And I'll share with you, over the last couple of weeks, NWBC hosted how to testify, you know, to your state legislators.
Okay.
So we had people within the organization host this webinar, if you will, and shared with us, you know, the process and the structure, because these environments are very structured and can be very intimidating to people, you know, to just the average working American, right? And so when you have somebody who's been traumatized, who's been a target of workplace bullying, and you ask them to, you know, go down to the state house and put on a suit and, you know, go and talk for 3 minutes about why they believe, you know, DAWA should be passed in their state. And one thing, you know, for me, I've been bullied in the workplace, not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but 4 times.
Wow.
In 2 different states with, you know, different employers, 4 different employers, right? And so I also consult with targets who've been bullied in the workplace. I help them negotiate their situation. I help them, I help empower them and encourage them to walk in their personal power while they're, you know, in this horrible situation, right?
Yes.
But something that really touched me in this last webinar, you know, listening to these people who have come forward, they are in the moment. They're sitting there, you know, in the galley waiting to, you know, for their turn to get up and talk for 3 minutes. And they're trying to put, you know, a year-long experience or 2 years or 5-year-long experience in 3 minutes, right?
Yes.
And they are triggered. They're anxious. They, you know, the post-traumatic stress is being triggered. And the courage that these people stand on, the tenacity, the resilience that these people have that are working within the organization, it's unbelievable to me. I work in law. I've worked in law for over 2 decades. I've gone to court in front of judges. You know, it's what I do, right? So I'm very comfortable and very confident in that environment. But someone who has experienced trauma
Yes.
who's coming into this environment and, has the courage to speak out. I just cannot emphasize how how much we need that.
Yes.
And it's hard, it's hard to tell somebody, you just have to do it, you just have to get up there, here, let me help you write it. There were people on the call who had worked on their 3-minute speech for months,
Okay.
and months and months, to get up there and share their story. And for those of you that are watching this podcast, our our voice is powerful, our testimony is powerful, right, Crystal?
Yes,
our
absolutely.
our, our experience is our experience, and when we can share that experience and share it in power,
Yes.
and when we can connect it to other lives, other American working class citizens, it's impactful. And our results in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, that's how DAWA is moving forward, is because these people have come forward, they have the courage and the tenacity to come forward and share the experience with their legislators, encouraging them to pass DAWA. It's phenomenal.
That's wonderful. And it seems like you all have some, it's like arsenal, if you will, in your tool belt. So someone who wants to be engaged and just join in the movement, you're not going to leave them, to the side. There's a lot of, it seems like, educational pieces that you can get hook up into so that you can
Yes.
move forward with strength, with courage. So there's also, it seems like, empowerment that's provided, empowerment tools, and it just seems like it's a very good movement to get involved in. And that's one of the reasons why I thought, okay, well, you know what, since we're getting inquiry, I see some of what DAW was doing, why don't we just bring a representative on to speak to that? So the individual as the target, as the bully, I'm sorry, well, the individual as the target or the bystander won't just be left alone. There's tools that can
Yes.
help assist with that
Yes.
movement.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I will share with you, while I'm building my Nevada team, I have just recently had a gentleman who has spent his entire life in the arts join me here in Nevada, Mr. Floyd
Wonderful.
Alexander, just a phenomenal, gifted, talented young man who has taught on bullying to our youth through the arts, through acting, right?
Okay.
And so he has had a personal experience of being retaliated against in the workplace himself.
Mm-hmm.
And, this was a topic for him before he even knew who Miss Camay was.
Yes.
And, when he saw what we were doing and, looked at his passion for the platform, he contacted me and was interested in joining us and becoming a member and getting, involved within education and outreach. And the board members were ecstatic. Just ecstatic, because we are now partnering with someone
Yes.
who has this platform of the arts, acting and theater. I mean, just this man's resume is just it's amazing. But to be able to show, like, even our legislators, to show other people, other constituents within our communities that, hey, this affects us in the nursing field, this affects us in, the legal field, this affects us in union environments.
Every industry. Yes.
Yes. And, to utilize his experience and his platform within the arts to, act out a workplace bullying situation, or to record a podcast on, a workplace bullying situation. That is how our team is growing. That is how we are expanding our reach and our platform, because we are bringing in people, members and volunteers and people who want to serve on our board of directors with their own greatness, with their own power. And it's growing and growing exponentially. I mean, we have to reconvene in a year and look back on all of our progress, because it's amazing.
Yes, that's wonderful. And it seems like, so we're looking for individuals. So as a target, as a bystander, we all have our different stories to tell. All of our experiences are different. One, we're different individuals. And so then we work in maybe different industries industries, different organizations. The bully is different. So, and how the organization handles bullying or not
Correct.
is
Correct.
different. And so we all can bring something to the plate. And that seems like you are DAWA, or the movement is just really it's expounding upon what individuals can bring to the plate, and just making
Yes.
it be, yes, a really like a melting pot of individuals that can help reach others. Because I
Yeah.
thought about that when you said the arts. Okay, how many people can he reach, just being in the arts? Because a lot of times you think, especially when you're going through, you think, oh, this is just me. You're not alone. As a
Yes.
target or a bystander, you are not alone
Correct.
to workplace bullying. And you may be in the organization and you may feel like you're alone. You may think, I'm just going through this, or the industry. But as you
Mhm.
mentioned, it happens in all social aspects and environments
Yes.
across
Yes.
the globe. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Back in 2016, NWBC, the president, Catherine Mattias, myself, and Sue Yang, we co-compiled a anthology, and we collected stories from our community for about a year. We reached out
Wow.
around the country on several different platforms, many different industries, and we asked for contributors to this anthology. So we had
Yes.
about 23 people come forward and willing to share their story, and really willing to have it published, whether anonymously or named, in this
Yes.
anthology, and provide their tools and their resources within their chapter of how they navigated through the situation, how they survived it. And Crystal,
Yes.
we had teachers, legal professionals, nurses, daycare attendants, no industry in the
Right.
American workforce is privy to workplace bullying.
Right.
No person
Right.
is privy to it.
Mhm.
Race, religion, national origin, none of those factors make a difference.
Yes. That's right.
Targets are bullied.
Yes.
The American workforce, they tolerate the behavior,
Yes.
depending on who the bully is, and how reputable they are within the organization.
Mhm.
Some organizations know they have a problem. They know
Yes.
they have a bully in the office, and yet they do nothing.
Right.
They do nothing to investigate any incidences. They do nothing to address the behavior, regardless of how many times it's reported to them.
Correct.
They they're quick to fire a target or terminate a target that's being bullied, that has the courage to report it.
Mhm.
And that's where the disgrace is.
Right.
We, especially in our current climate, there are many Americans still not working,
Yes.
and there are many Americans who are being horribly bullied in the workplace because of our current climate, and
Mhm.
because they can't just go get another job.
Yes.
I don't know any American families that can just quit a job without
Right.
having another job.
Right.
They stay in these environments, and their mental health just deteriorates
Yes.
from it.
Yes.
And so this book that we compiled, it is now an ebook.
Okay.
We do have it up now as an ebook, which is great.
Wonderful.
Everything's online these days.
Yes.
But in this anthology, we have 23 people who share tools and resources. Within the organization, there are consultants who coach targets.
Okay.
We have consultants who coach bullies. Catherine Mattias, she's one of our board of director members. She actually goes into organizations and coaches bullies.
Okay.
And
Wonderful.
so, yeah. And so we I want people to understand, and I guess I think the loudest message that I want in all of this information that we're sharing today, the loudest message that I want people to hear is that, we are not looking at this one-sided. We're not only looking at this from a target's perspective or a bystander's perspective. You know, we're looking at this from the employer perspective, the bully perspective, the target's perspective for sure, and the bystander, because everyone is affected. Every one of those people is affected when there's a bully in the workplace.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so, you know, we want to address those things. And something that we have found, Crystal, in our years of, you know, research and our years of working with targets, our years of working, you know, with bullies and the information that we have compiled, is that many organizations do not know how to address a bully in the workplace. They themselves don't have the tools or the resources. They don't know where to begin.
Absolutely.
You know, they're just kind of at a loss, and a lot of times things are happening so fast that they don't have time to, you know, kind of get ahead of themselves and even just catch up to even consider how to address the problem. And so we recognize that. We identify that there are employers who have no tools, no resources. You know, the corporate is not, you know, rolling down the ladder, if you will, training and courses and information, you know, to teach their people how they should be behaving in the workplace. And so we offer those tools as well. You know, we're addressing this from both sides because it's going to take all of us. It's going to take the employer. It's going to take the bully and, you know, the target and the bystanders to understand how this is, you know, this hostility and the toxicity and the negativity in these environments, how it's affecting the bottom line of the organization. It's costing them money. And, you know, the mental health of the target. Something very interesting, Crystal, I will share this with you to elaborate on this point. I teach a CLE here in Nevada. It's an ethics CLE that gives lawyers one ethics credit for taking my webinar. And in the beginning of my webinar, to kind of build camaraderie, right? Because I don't really know who's on my call. It can be legal professionals, it can be people just wanting the information, right? So I have a little handout that I pass out, and it's, you know, really short, and it's, you know, multiple choice questions that it's asking people, and they add up their points at the end of the little questionnaire. And what it does is it jogs people's memory, and it gets their attention about how their behavior in the workplace could be considered bullying.
Perfect.
Right?
Yes.
So I hand out this little pamphlet, and, you know, I ask everybody to complete it. And then I ask, you know, if anyone would like to share their results from, you know, from the exercise. And so every time I give my CLE, every time I teach my CLE, there is always one person who's completed the survey and is they're horrified at their score. They're horrified to see that their behavior based on this exercise could be considered as bullying. And I'm not making excuses for bullies. Right. I'm absolutely not making excuses for them. But I do believe that there are people in the workplace who are bullies that don't even understand the depth of their behavior and that they are bullying people. And so when you bring a bully into this conversation, and you know, the realization that you see some of them have, you know, to their defense, that's just how they behave. That's how they behave. No one has ever come to them and told them your behavior is borderline bullying behavior in the workplace. And so that instills, you know, change in them, because some bullies, they don't know that they're bullies, and they don't want to be bullies, and they want to change their behavior. And to me, you know, that is success on the highest level. When you can reach somebody, you know, that is potentially bullying in the workplace, to bring that realization to them.
And it's learned behavior, and your results don't surprise me, only because in my dissertation, the results that I found is with the generations. We've got some things going on with the different generations. We've got 4, possibly soon 5 generations in the workforce. And with that comes everyone's personality, what they've been through as a generation. We've got all of that in the mix. And what we did find is that some of the older generations, some of the seasoned generations have actions that are borderline bullying and they're not aware. So
Yes.
that, yes, I can relate to that. And it's exciting to bring, because workplace bullying is like a downer. It makes you talked about the health impacts,
Yes.
but to know that you've reached someone, that's a plus.
Yes.
To know that you've brought awareness to what workplace bullying is, that's a plus. Some of these
Yes. Yes. And that combined with legislation,
yes,
that is what it's going to take to
yes,
remove bullying from our American workforce.
absolutely,
Getting
absolutely,
legislation passed, and raising the awareness within the organizations themselves, with the bullies themselves, because here's the deal, right? So you can have a bully in a workplace that's targeting a person, and that target could quit, or leave, and never report anything or never say anything right for whatever reason.
yes.
That bully is going to continue on bullying.
Bullying,
That
right?
bully is not going to change. Their behavior will be inflicted on the next person and the next
Yes,
person and the next person and the
yes,
next person.
yes,
So when you can raise awareness and you can, reach this person and really, they're truly genuinely considering their behavior,
mhm,
that stops it, right?
right,
That's going to stop. Hopefully that's going to stop the behavior and it will not continue to the next person, the next
yes,
person, the next
yes.
person.
And then
So to me, it's the greatest success.
yes,
There are laws in place now, right? Like I like to use this one all the time, like speeding, right? It's a law.
right,
Like there's a speed limit,
right.
and I break the law all the time. Admittedly I do.
Right.
I speed all the time.
Well, me is the
And
running stop.
just so that's horrible. Like,
Yes,
and so we understand that, DAWA could pass in every state in the country, right? And we could have this law in place, to offer protections for targets and employers, who act appropriately.
yes,
But that doesn't mean that bullying in the workplace is going to stop,
that's correct.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
So because people break laws that we've had for decades,
yes, absolutely.
like the speeding and the stop sign, right?
Yes, yes. Well,
And so when you can stop the behavior, when you can actually reach the bully and raise awareness and stop the behavior, that is true success. That is really what is going to eliminate this out of our
yes,
workplace.
absolutely. There's two things you said. One, that sparked something in my mind, how you said the organizations are not equipped. And I'm in 100% agreement. I think what they have in their toolbox is fit to build maybe an arena. And what we're trying to do is build an organization. So they have the wrong tools within their toolbox to help mitigate and eliminate workplace bullying. And so a lot of
Yes.
times what we find is someone just doing something to mark the box. Okay, I talked to this person, talk to this person, I talked to that person, talk to that person. That doesn't eliminate or mitigate. As a matter of fact, sometimes it makes it worse because they don't have what they need. They need a wrench and they're using a hammer. So
Yes.
that's a lot of things. What will happen, what will come out of, I believe, the legislation also is giving people now will start to see the after effects and organizations will say, okay, you know what? I need more so that I can help, eliminate and mitigate workplace bullying. And then something else you said with no one is void. I know you worded it a little different, but no one is void of becoming a target or a bystander. No organization
Correct.
is void
Correct.
of not having a bully within their organization. And if we look at the
Correct.
percentages, there has actually been an increase in the percentage of white Americans that are bullied. So at one point, maybe 3-4 years ago, the most race that was bullied we saw were the African Americans, were people of color, minorities. We see an increase in white Americans. We see an increase in our Asian brothers and sisters. And so no one is void. Everyone is
Yes.
included in this, and everyone can play a part in this movement to help mitigate and eliminate workplace bullying.
Yes, yes. I will also say one of the most powerful pieces of a support system for a target is that bystander, that coworker that is there in the environment, that, you know, they're kind of on the outside looking in, and they see the behavior or and they've witnessed the behavior, and they're fearful of it because they don't want to be a target.
Right.
And so when we have bystanders that join us and join the platform, that are courageous enough to stand up and report, you know, what they're seeing and how it's affecting their mental health, because that's where the virus is, right?
Yes.
The virus is the mental health.
Yes.
Post-traumatic stress, anxiety, depression, weight gain, weight loss, just those invisible viruses that will just deteriorate a person's health from the inside out. I know, and I'm speaking from experience because it happened to me. And you don't really understand what's happening. You don't really, you can't really conceptualize why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, what it's called, what is causing it, you know, where are the triggers. You just know that you don't feel good, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're sad, you're depressed, and ultimately, you know, contemplating suicide. Back in 2015, when I was being bullied in the workplace, I was horrified when somebody said, "You're being bullied in the workplace." I was like, what?
Right.
Bullied in the workplace. Okay. And, you know, for me, working in civil litigation, you know, working in insurance defense litigation and plaintiff personal injury, I said to myself at the time, I said, well, if this is what's happening, you know, I have damages here, loss of enjoyment of life, emotional distress. You know, my doctor diagnosed me with, you know, anxiety and depression and post-traumatic stress. And, you know, what was horrible is that I had, you know, I had reached the burden of proof to like file a lawsuit. In my world, that's how you file a lawsuit, you know. So you're injured at the fault of someone else, and they're going to be held accountable, and losses include, you know, emotional distress, loss of enjoyment of life. And so when I, you know, reached out to a personal injury attorney, and he said, well, bullying is not illegal in our country. Like, it's not illegal. This person can do this to you. And so I was so confused. And I remember like saying to myself, why am I working in law if this is legal? And if this person can inflict emotional distress and then there's no recourse, like this can't be true. Like, this can't be possible. And so in my research, no one was talking about bullying in the workplace. No one. There was nothing on social media. You know, now today there's so many platforms, you know, there's Teachers Against Bullying, there's Parents Against Bullying, just there's so many people talking about it. But just, you know, 5-6 years ago, no one was talking about it. There were no tools, there were no resources, there was no Miss Camay saying, hey, if you've been bullied in the workplace, I can help you. You know, and what horrified me was I watched a video on YouTube. I found one video where a mother was talking about her daughter. And in the video, it was showing family pictures, you know, her and the daughter. And she was saying her daughter was a great mother and a great wife. And, you know, she knew that there were some things going on at her daughter's work, but she had no idea, you know, the gravity of it. And she had no idea that her daughter would commit suicide. And so and then her husband went on to talk about it, you know, yeah, we knew some things were going on, and she would come home upset sometimes. And, you know, this woman who had so much to live for, she had parents that loved her, a husband that loved her, young children that loved her. She had a great career, and she took her own life. She felt that she had no other option to end this, you know, this treatment in her life than, but to take her own life.
Mm.
And I knew at that moment, Crystal, at that moment, I said, this cannot continue. This cannot happen. There has to be another choice. There has to be another option. There has to be something that this woman could have done.
Yes.
To prevent her from doing this. And the organization that allowed it, what are they doing? Mm-hmm. How someone just committed suicide in their organization, what aren't they going to do something?
Right.
So, it was that impact on me. And then, being a legal professional and saying like, this has to be illegal. Right. Like you have to be able to sue, and hold someone accountable for this continued behavior.
For their actions or lack thereof.
Correct. And that day, my life took a complete 180-degree turn in the direction that I was going, because I almost took my
Yes. I think we cut in and out a little bit, but we understand with the weather going on around us that sometimes we'll have the glitches. Well, Ms. Camay, are there any last words that you want to say to our audience?
Gosh, how much time do we have?
Well, we only have like 2 minutes.
Okay, perfect. I'm in closing. This is what I want to tell the viewers. If you are being bullied in the workplace, or if you are witnessing someone being bullied in the workplace, there are options. There are choices. There are tools and resources that are out there for each one of you. I encourage you to reach out to me if I can potentially help you, if anyone within the organization can help you. We will guide you in the right direction and help you, help provide the tools and the resources that you need, and ask you to join us on this platform and join us in this movement, because no one should be bullied in the workplace every day when they go to work.
That's right. Thank you so much, Ms. Camay. We'd like to thank our social and virtual audience. Thank you so much for joining us on today. Hopefully we've shared information to help you deal with workplace bullying, to help you get engaged with this movement, with this NWBC, and get in connection with what's going on with DAWA. What a great movement. Thank you so much, Ms. Camay. Ms. Camay and I will stay in touch. An audience, I'd like for us to stay in touch as well. How do we do that? By you subscribing to Workplace Keys to Success. For booking and for notifying, informing, getting in contact with Ms. Camay, she can be reached at mscamayinternational@gmail.com, and we will leave her contact information in the description. Listen, I want you all to have a wonderful work week. As we're working from home still, as we're going back into the office, we've all got different dynamics, all different walks of life. We've got all things going on. But like Ms. Camay said, no one should be bullied. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone, have a great work week. Thank you.
Bye-bye.